Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Danny.
So before I introduce what we're going to learn today, I want you to help me with a little problem. I have a really sad Mr. Sloth here. And he's sad because you know how Mr. Sloth and Peanuts live behind the bookshelf? Well, Mr. Sloth got up this morning and he did a big stretch. Show me your big stretch. He did a big stretch and his eyes were up in the air. And before he knew it, he slipped and fell on Peanuts' skateboard. He slipped and fell on Peanut's skateboard. What do you think happened to Mr. Sloth when he slipped and fell on Mr. Peanut's skateboard? Clara, what do you think happened? I think, whole sentence.
I think that Mr. Sloth scraped his.
You think Mr. Sloth scraped his knee, Romeo? What do you think happened to Mr. Sloth?
I think he just hit his head on the floor.
You think he hit his head on the floor? Shaidan, what do you think happened to Mr. Sloth? I think he hit his knee. Savannah? I think we busted open his limb. So show me if you agree. Do you agree that Mr. Sloth probably got hurt from tripping on a skateboard? At least a little bit? Yeah. So today, and we're going to come back to Mr. Sloth. Today, we have a new learning target, and this is brand new. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. I can, everyone. I can identify the cause and effect to improve my comprehension. So, cause and effect. Has anyone ever heard of cause and effect before? Has anyone ever heard? Nazir, what do you know about cause and effect? Your eyes are on Nazir.
Is whenever something happens and when it does, it could lead to something.
When something happens and it could lead to something else. Dude, right on. So our cause is why did it happen? So what is this picture? What's happening in this picture? Who can read that sentence? Savannah, what does that sentence say? Can you read it? Here, move it over. It rained. What happens when it rains? We're even studying weather, so this is perfect. What could happen when it rains? Turn to my partner and talk about the effect of what would happen if it rains. Oh, if it rains, what would happen? What would happen if it rains? It could make your hair wet. It could make a flood. What do you girls think? What do you think happens when what happens when it rains? What is the rain cause though? What is the rain cause? So when I think of rain, I'm thinking it causes me to have to go get my umbrella. What do you have to get when it rains? Oh, you have to cover that too? All right, back to the inside. Shaidan's already a star. That's 1 star point 3. Romeo's voice is off. He's showing me he's ready to learn. Savannah is sitting in star. That is 1 class point. I'm 100% beautiful. So what happens when it rains? What did you talk about, Karan? When it rains? Oh, it can make a flood? Because of the amount of rain, it can make a flood. What else can happen, Romeo?
It could make a tornado.
Oh, so rain kind of works with a tornado? So if you saw rain, you could see a tornado too? Does it cause a tornado though? Not quite. Claire, what do you think?
It could make clouds.
So the rain could come from the really big clouds? So what I'm thinking of is what happens when it rains. So a flood is a perfect one because all of the rain causes the flood. Gemini, what did we talk about? What did we do when it rains?
We need an umbrella.
We have to get our umbrella. So the effect, my friends, is what happened. Everyone say, what happened?
What happened?
So the cause is why did it happen, everyone? The cause is
Why did it happen?
the effect is what happened.
What happened?
So, my friends, today, actually, I want you to think for a minute. Imagine that someone came up to you and called you a name. Imagine that someone came up to you and called you a name. What happened? What happened if someone called you a name? Turn over and talk to a friend about what would happen if someone called you a name. What would the effect be? If somebody called me a name,
If someone called me a name, I would feel bad, and I would say, what happened?
you would walk away. You would walk away too. I would use my words to try to solve the
I
problem.
would say I don't like them, I would walk away, and then I can deal with it.
What would happen if someone called you a name? If someone called you a name, what would be the effect? Shy Dawn.
If someone called me a name, and then I tell them to stop and they keep doing it, and then I tell the teacher, and then if they keep doing it again, then I'm gonna walk away.
You're going to walk away. So what would happen would be, Shy Dawn would walk away. Karan, what would happen if someone called you a mean name?
If somebody called me a mean,
Nice tracking, Savannah.
name, I would, if they keep calling me the same name back, I'll tell the teacher, if they keep doing it,
So we could tell the teacher or we could go relax. So that's something that could happen in the classroom. So the reason we did this was I wanted to make sure we understood the cause and effect before we jump into our reading. Yes, Nazir, another thought.
If someone called me a name, and I walked away and he followed me. I said I don't like that. He kept on following me and following me. I was running so fast. And
So maybe you would run away.
I'll be so fast he will be able to catch up with
Okay,
me.
so every time in the book that we are going to read Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. So every time you hear a cause and effect, I want you to put your hands on your head. Show me what you're going to do. Put your hands on your,
Head.
put your hands on your what?
Head.
Beautiful. Every time you hear a cause and effect. And what we are going to do is we are going to write the causes on one sticky note and put them on this side. And then we are going to write the effects on the other side. So then we have an anchor chart of all the cause and effects in the whole book. Sound good?
Yeah.
Alrighty, my friends. Get your laser eyes on. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I went to sleep with gum in my hair, or in my mouth. And now there's gum in my hair. And in the morning, when I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Jameer, what cause and effect did you hear? He fell on the skateboard. What happened? Oh, help him out. What happened when he fell on the skateboard? Clara. He dropped his sweater in the sink. So, because he tripped on
the
the skateboard. Because, and what happened? Because he tripped on the skateboard, what was our effect? What happened?
What happened?
Claire, what happened again?
He dropped his sweater.
He dropped his sweater in the sink.
And he wasn't paying attention when he was moving.
Did anyone hear anything else? Did anyone hear another one on this page?
Very horrible, very bad.
Karan, I see Karan's hands are on his head. Karan, which one did you hear?
I heard.
Was that a cause and effect though? No, Romeo, what was the other cause and effect?
He got gum on his hair.
So, why? Why did he get gum in his hair?
Because when whipped gum.
Hold on. Savannah, it's Romeo's turn.
When he tripped on the skateboard.
Not quite. Savannah, help him out.
He fell asleep with gum in his mouth, and then when he woke up, he had gum.
So because he went to sleep with gum in his mouth, he woke up with gum in his hair. Yes, Shaidarn.
Every time you sleep with gum in your mouth, when you open your mouth, it slips out, and then it goes to your hair.
Oh, so you're thinking about it more in depth of what could happen. So it slipped out of his mouth and then went into his hair. So you already found two cause and effects on this page. So I'm gonna have a scribe, I'm gonna have a writer, and I'm gonna have Miss Clara be my writer. And she is going to record the cause and effects that we find in the text.